Welcome to the Today in History channel. In today's video we will talk about the day, June 24, 1950, inauguration of Maracanã Stadium. The year 1950 and the decade that followed were emblematic of Brazilian history. In the field of politics, Getúlio Vargas's accession to the presidency of the Republic took place in the elections of October 1950, no longer through a coup or some legal device, but by direct vote, with an expressive vote of 48.7% of the valid votes. To the sound of the Maracanã Retrato do Velho, by Francisco Alves, Getúlio walked firmly to victory. The 1950s saw, with Getúlio, the creation of Petrobras, Eletrobras, the National Electrification Fund, the National Research Council, CNPq, and the National Development Bank, BNDES, all due to the cut in financing from the United States to Brazilian development. In that decade, the great mass communication vehicle, radio, became popular, as well as cinema. Radio Nacional, with its short waves, which reached even the USA, presented news programs, musicals and advertisements. Iconic singers of Brazilian music, like Emilinha Borba and Marlene, shared passionate fans about which of the two would be the best. In cinema, chanchadas dominated popular taste, with films produced by Atlantida, in Rio de Janeiro, and Veracruz, in São Paulo. Millions of Brazilians flocked to the halls to watch Grande Otelo, Oscarito, and Dirce Goncalves, to name just one of the many artists of national preference. But the great Brazilian passion, since that time, was undoubtedly football. The nationalized Breton sport, practiced from the lowland fields to the big stadiums, divided the opinions of Brazilians in endless debates about the quality of teams and players, the result of matches and championships. However, in the 1950s, Brazilians would see for the first time in their country the realization of the supreme football competition, the World Cup. The championships of 1942 and 1946 were cancelled. Due to the outbreak of the Second World War, there was even a difficulty in choosing a location for the international event. In Europe, devastated by the war, Brazil's offer was accepted and, in 1950, the World Cup would be held here. The stadiums chosen for the games were, in Belo Horizonte, the Raimundo Sampaio Stadium, in Curitiba, Dorival Brito e Silva, in Porto Alegre, the Eucalyptus Stadium, in Recife, the Adelmar da Costa Carvalho Stadium, in São Paulo, the Pacaembu, in Rio de Janeiro, the nation's capital, the Jornalista Mario Filho Stadium, better known by the name of Maracanã, which was specially built to host the 1950 World Cup Games. In the midst of the post-war world, Brazil, still rural, presented its modernity, with the creation of large state companies, the search for its industrialization, and would become a showcase for the world, through the biggest sporting event on the planet. With tradition in the sport of the ball, Brazil entered as favorite to win the cup, and had shown up to the expectations, since it had not lost any game of the final quadrangle of the tournament, before the last one. In that phase, he humiliated Sweden on July 9, with a score of 7-1. On 13, another massacre, this time over Spain, with a resounding 6-1. These games were played in the stadium that had become the heart of the championship, in the capital of Brazil, the Maracanã. Before, the Brazilian team had already tied with Switzerland in 2-2 and beat Yugoslavia by 2-0. The final game of the quadrangular and the World Cup was played in a Maracanã packed by almost 200,000 people, with an evident majority of Brazilians already confident that the Jules Rimet Cup would be green and yellow, since, in the worst case, the tie guaranteed the title. Losing was not on the list of possibilities, given the successful campaign promoted by National Scratch. The Brazilian dream ended in the 34th minute of the second half, when Gigia untied the game, which ran in a nervous 1-1, in favor of the Uruguayan team, which was crowned champion of the 1950 World Cup. Inauguration of the stadium, on June 24, right there, at Maracanã, with the Brazilian team's 4-0 victory over Mexico, with 2 goals from Ademir, 1 from Jair, and 1 from Baltasar, and now it was fading dissolved in the tears of millions of Brazilians, on that fateful afternoon of July 16, 1950. Did you like the video? In the description you will find the blog link with the full article. Give an incentive by subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting, and sharing with your friends. Hugs. Until the next.